Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I would like to introduce myself to you, to the English-speaking community, as a translator, interpreter, and a trainer. My name is Muhammad Abu Risha. And the reason I am speaking now to you today in English is that I would like to reach out to the English community of translators and educators in this field. It is often time that we translators use Arabic in teaching translation from Arabic into English and vice versa. What I am doing, however, today is to talk in English in order to make a disclosure, a premature disclosure perhaps, about the process that I am at the moment moving forward in teaching translators this art and this science, but most importantly, this philosophy. It's fair enough to say that when we talk in Arabic, usually only Arabs hear me. And given the fact that the English community is much more advanced in terms of translation studies, I feel it very ethical and more transparent to talk in English in order to disclose what I am doing, so that I can stand in the position of peer-to-peer review to be judged by people who can decide whether I'm doing the right thing or not. For the past 20 years, I have been teaching translation and interpreting to students, and as I said, it's from Arabic into English and vice versa. During those years, I have also developed an interest in psychology and philosophy. Now, what happens at the end of the day is that we have two types of education of translators and interpreters. The first one is formal education through universities. The second one is from the master to the apprentice, from the one who practices the profession to the one who is just in the first steps of learning it. And I have noticed that in either case, there is a kind of mentality or mindset that exists among students. It is, could you please tell us about how we translate this? How can I translate that? What is the rule for this? And what is the rule for that? And in fact, I pondered upon this for some time and thought about the mistakes that a translator can do and can make. Those mistakes are part of the training of the trainer, of the translator, and they are part of his personality. They are part of his progress towards the profession as a translator. So I thought it wouldn't be any justice for the trainees to be forced to use a specific way of translation. And I have used this approach for a long time, in which I gather with students and discuss with them issues in translation, work on a paragraph or a text from Arabic into English and from English into Arabic, get their points of view, and in multiple occasions, even if I try to give a model translation, between quotes and quote, what happens is that their translation proved to be much better after making some kind of changes. It boils down to the personality of the trainee himself, his development. But at the end of the day, do we really make the trainee able to own the product? What happens in most cases in the usual paradigm of teaching translators is that after the training course, usually the students are impressed by the trainer. They are impressed by the experience of the trainer. But are they really impressed by the learning experience that they have gained? Are they really confident enough to produce a one paragraph translation that they are proud of to belong to them? These are highly ethical questions that I was asking myself. Today, I'm trying something new. In December, we started myself and some students, and many of them are translators already, an experiment. It is a training cycle. Every time we try to do things in translation. And what happens is that we try together to piece up the puzzle, to try to look at the text from different perspectives, and to ask each student to give his or her own perspective to the translation of the text. And my role, in fact, was just a facilitator. I could suggest corrections, but then it just struck me. I couldn't do a lot with the translation that they have provided because it is their own personality, it's their own life, their own world. Yes, there could be certain mistakes that could have been changed. That's true. I could give them guidance. But at the end of the day, and in each lesson, we could have several translations. All of them are correct from the perspectives from the students. And in each time, I would ask them, how do you feel about the translation that you have produced? There are different texts. Sometimes they would say, I would choose something else. At other times, they would say, we stick to what we translate. And here comes the principle that seems to be revealed. A trainee has full authority, utmost freedom, but at the same time, he has full responsibility towards the client or the potential client. From here, I was just trying to answer a question that they have asked me several times. How do you come with certain strategies that you are using in translation? And they told me several times that they are very impressed with the way I translate if I give them any suggestion. And I thought about this. Instead of giving them the fish, why don't I teach them how to catch the fish? And then I said to myself, my brain, my heart, my soul reflected on the experience that I have accumulated throughout my life and all the knowledge that I have. That I'm still learning, by the way. And then I just thought about philosophy. It all goes back to philosophy because sometimes I translate as if I were trying to be closer to the reality of Plato. And sometimes I was setting the paragraph or the text to the empirical text of Aristotle. At other times, I was trying just to be cautious, not to be prejudiced in translation. And this reminds me of the Idols of Francis Bacon. At other times, I was using stream of consciousness in translation, making me sometimes use a free translation and not literal translation in order to reflect the semiotic system between communities, between the English and Arabic communities. I just thought about these things. And in training, I thought about the constructivist approach, which I am highly enthusiastic for, where the student is not only at the center of the learning process, but is also the engine and the main driver. With this being said, the checklist that I have consists of the following: philosophy, psychology, education, neuroscience. And instead of teaching my students all of those things, what I thought about was simply to make a discussion on them. And each student would make a presentation about something related to them. We started last meeting, we started with Plato, Aristotle, and other schools of thought, philosophy, the Stoics. We studied also the Idols of Bacon, We studied so many things in philosophy. And today, we discussed Russian formalism, we discussed semiotics, we discussed the stream of consciousness. Next time, we'll be discussing other issues, positivist and the neo-positivist, the constructivist. We're going also to discuss in psychology the Gestalt theory, Freud's approach, introspection approach, and others. We're going also to move into neuroscience and to see if there are any implications of neuroscience on the education and practice of translators. The whole process is being driven by them. And this is my thought. At the end of the day, after we review all of them, and after we all understand each of those disciplines, what will happen when we try to discuss a text in translation? Are we going together to think of words or phrases or ideas as symbols and to see how there are certain intertextual links between them? Are we going to focus on the form in some texts? Are we going to think about the flow of ideas in others? Are we going in translation to make the sentences longer, to prolong the effect? Are we going to defamiliarize the whole text? What are the options that we are going to use? Still, this question is not answered. I'm still trying to see how we can get answers to some of these questions. But as I said to my friends, my colleagues, the students, and I am one of the students, of course, today I told them that maybe at the end of the day, we find ourselves just in the position of Thomas Edison's experiment with the first lamp that he invented. Maybe we can reach to nothing, but it's worth the attempt. At least, it will certainly make us wiser, or hopefully wiser. So, in conclusion, I would like just to repeat one thing. The reason I am speaking in English here, it is just because I really want to take full responsibility of the way and approach that I am teaching. I could speak in Arabic, yes, but as I said, if I speak in Arabic, I'm not addressing the real people who can judge me and who can tell me if I am doing the right thing or no. I hope that you wish me the good luck in this endeavor, and thank you very much for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for giving me the chance to talk.